And I'm Miriam Marar, and our project will be analyzing different data on the Chicago Bulls. The reason we chose this data set was to see their changes throughout their years. Our domain that we used was both MATLAB and Octave. The way we used our data set was by creating an Excel spreadsheet that we later turned into a comma-separated values chart, basically a CSV file, so that it would be easier to access it. Our first analyzation was between the total amounts of wins versus the total amounts of loses throughout the season. The second analyzation was their ranks in the NBA Central Division versus the seasons that they were in throughout all 25 seasons. Our third analyzation was their defensive points throughout all the seasons versus their offensive points throughout the season. And the way we visualized these analyzation functions was through first a pie chart for wins versus loses, a scatter plot for ranks versus seasons, and finally a bar graph for the defensive versus offensive points throughout the season.
Hi, my name is Tara Harvey. The script we wrote is made up of 5 functions, 1 main one and 4 call functions. The main one starts out by asking the user what analyzation they'd like to see. The user types in the coordinating string of letters which matches one of the if statements. These statements are what call the other 4 functions and are located inside of the while loop. This loop keeps the program running until the user types end. Inside of the first if statement, the program will ask the user whether they would like to view the data in a pie chart or a bar graph, and the string inputted by the user then matches with one of the later functions.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Grasser. For the first part, we compared the wins versus loses. The data could be displayed in either a bar graph or in a pie chart, whatever the user decides. For the bar graph, we found the wins by collecting all the data from the second column and found the losses from the third column. Next, the 2 columns were summed to get total wins and total losses, and plotted each as a bar. Labels were added, having total games be the x-axis and the wins versus loses on the y-axis. Next, the pie chart displaying wins versus loses was found the same way, except the wins sum and the losses sum were totaled to find the number of total games played. Then, percent of wins or losses was found by doing total wins divided by total games and total losses divided by total games. Then, they were plugged into a pie chart, including their labels as strings. The next function was rank versus season and used a scatter plot to compare what rank the Bulls came in depending on what year it was. The rank was found by getting data from the 4th column, and the season was found by taking data from the 1st column. Then they were plugged into the scatter plot function. Lastly, we compared the defensive versus offensive points played each year. A stacked bar graph was used to show one bar, showing the total points for each season, and it being split into 2 different colors to show which of these points were defensive and which were offensive. The defensive points were found from the 5th column, and the offensive points were found by the 6th column. The years were plugged into X starting at 1993 and increasing 1 year until it reached 2017. Then all of it was plugged into the stacked bar graph function. This completes our code for analyzing the Chicago Bulls statistics. I hope you enjoyed our presentation.